Hello everyone, I'm Meteorologist Charlie Ironmonger. Thank you so much for joining me today for your 11 a.m. news and weather update from the First Alert Desk. Now we've got news out of Raleigh where lawmakers are calling on a state rep to step down after criminal charges have been filed. WRAL reports that State Rep Cecile Brockman of Guilford County faces 2 counts of statutory sex offense and 2 counts of indecent liberties with a child in Guilford County, according to court records. Now, Brockman was being held at the Guilford County Jail Wednesday morning. Authorities claim in court documents that Brockman attempted to contact the alleged victim in the hospital and attempted to, quote, use his status to gain information on the whereabouts of the victim, end quote. Now, Brockman's legislative office didn't immediately respond to a request for comment. House Minority Leader Robert Reeves of Chatham County said the allegations against Brockman are serious and, quote, if true, would disqualify him from public office, end quote. Now, he went on to say, quote, this is a developing situation and it is important to let the legal process unfold, end quote. Now, the North Carolina Democratic Party went a step further, calling on Brockman to resign immediately. The party said in a statement, quote, the profound seriousness of these criminal charges makes it impossible for him to effectively represent his community, end quote. And now we also want to highlight a shooting investigation that has netted an arrest. 50-year-old Bernard Jones was arrested by Pitt County deputies yesterday. A 44-year-old man was shot multiple times on Crawford Street at around 12:40 a.m. last Friday. Now, deputies say they found probable cause to get warrants to arrest Jones. A search warrant was also performed at Jones' home in Bethel. Now, Jones has been charged with attempted first-degree murder and assault with a deadly weapon with intent to kill, inflicting serious injury. He was taken to the Pitt County Jail without bond. Jones will have his first court appearance today, and detectives say their investigation is ongoing. And now for your weather forecast. Again, it's looking beautiful out there today, but we know that that beauty is temporary. We're going to have a little bit of a break in that beauty as we head through the upcoming weekend. Let's take a look at what we've got right now across the southeastern United States. And the cloud cover and the rain showers that were over us yesterday have now pulled their way off the coast and well, still sitting nearby Cape Fear, Cape Lookout, and Cape Hatteras. But that frontal boundary, that's going to lead to a low pressure system developing today and tomorrow that will bring windy and rainy conditions back to eastern North Carolina over both Saturday and Sunday. Saturday right now is looking like the wet and soggy day, still breezy. But Sunday is looking like the real windy day where showers turn a little bit more sparse. But before we get into this weekend's forecast, let's highlight what we are looking at out our door right now. Most of us are enjoying quite the temperature drop. Well, at least I hope you're enjoying it. I know most of us are enjoying the humidity drop that comes along with it. But over the past 24 hours, most areas have seen temperatures drop by about 7 to 15 degrees over the past 24 hours. That has put us back in the mid to upper 60s at this hour. We do have a few areas coming in the low 70s, 71 in Swan Quarter as well as Beaufort, 70 in Hatteras, the rest of eastern North Carolina right now in the 60s, as Roanoke Rapids now up to 61 degrees. But it's the humidity that also took a big dive as that cold front rolled through. Over the past 24 hours, many areas have seen a drop in dew points between 15 to 25 degrees. That is substantial. You can feel it when you walk outside, and that feeling of low humidity will stick with us through the weekend and into next week. We're not looking at any sort of big push of humidity anytime soon, at least so long as we've got a northeasterly wind intact. And that is essentially kind of the forecast for the weekend. The steady, the consistency, I should really say, of the winds out of the northeast. Right now, coming in generally at around 10 to 15 miles an hour across most of eastern North Carolina. These, again, are your sustained winds. Gusts right now reaching a little bit higher, reaching between around 20 to 25 miles an hour for most of the area. We do have some areas reporting some slightly higher gusts around Piney Island and Beaufort, but wind gusts, again, going to continue to increase for today and then into tomorrow, and then even more so Saturday and Sunday. So what's the true story around this system? It's kind of multiple parts to it. One, the cold front that's going to stall, again, leading to the development of that low pressure system. But keep your eyes on that area of high pressure over the Great Lakes. The greater the temperature, the pressure difference between two areas, or just really one area, is you have, again, pressure falling from that area of high pressure down to the low pressure. The greater the change is, the stronger the winds will be. They're called pressure gradient winds, or PGF. It's one that, again, helps force those winds accelerate. And so the fact that, again, we are seeing quite the difference in pressure across North Carolina, and it's not just across North Carolina. However, we are going to be experiencing, unfortunately, the worst of it because that low is going to get closer and closer to us. But the pressure gradient is only going to increase as we head into the weekend, which means that your wind speeds are going to accelerate. It is going to be downright windy out there. Now, I do want to answer some questions from Michael Heath. Thank you so much for joining me over on Facebook. How much rain this weekend for Edgecombe? Right now, Michael, we're looking at I would say for Edgecombe County on Saturday. Saturday is going to be the wetter of the 2 days. I would anticipate around an inch, maybe an inch and a half of rain coming down across Edgecombe County. Outside chance at maybe 2 inches, but I think more inch to an inch and a half as you get a little bit closer to I-95. But then on Sunday, rain showers become a little bit more sparse. For those of you watching along and east of Highway 17, you could be looking at around 2, maybe up to 3 inches of rain coming down on Saturday, with an additional ½ inch to inch of rain possible there on Sunday. And again, that's a soaked forecast. Those of you on the Outer Banks, so could see upwards around 3, maybe up to 4 inches. Some models have spit out numbers as high as around 5 inches. I think that may be a little bit out of our realm of possibility, but again, it's certainly one that we'll continue to keep a close eye on. Let's zoom the picture in a little bit closer on that low and watch as it moves closer to eastern North Carolina. Again, for today and tomorrow, this is that 48-hour time period where that low is going to slowly get stronger, kind of gather up as much moisture as it can off the coast of Florida and Georgia, and then move its way northward over the Carolinas. We will start to see the rain showers show up early Saturday morning along the Crystal Coast, and those rain showers slowly work their way northward. I think once we get past noon on Saturday, areas north of Highway 264 will start to see more consistent rain, and then it'll get heavy at times. There will be embedded downpours within this system. Thunderstorms, not overly likely. I'm going to get rid of me because I'm just sitting in the way there. I do apologize about that. Here is again where the position of that system is going to be as we head into your Sunday morning. Right now, it looks like that low is going to be almost right over Cape Lookout and heading towards Cape Hatteras. And the winds will accelerate during that time period. Now, wind direction obviously is going to be very important. We are going to see more of a northerly wind from this system, but it'll shift. We'll go from a northeasterly wind on Saturday to more northeasterly winds Sunday, but as we finish Sunday, we may end up with more of a north to northwesterly wind flow. Northerly is the key component. That will be consistent, keeping us fairly cool. But the direction, again, can have a big impact on how water gets pushed across eastern North Carolina, specifically across Ocracoke, Soundside. You guys, unfortunately, are again looking at some rough conditions. We'll talk about Tropical Storm Jerry coming up in just a few moments. But Ocracoke, you guys are looking at Soundside flooding. It will be the worst on Sunday, particularly around high tide. But even Saturday may end up seeing, again, some higher water levels on the Pamlico Sound side of Ocracoke. The kind of south side of the Neuse River, south of New Bern along southern Craven County, that's another area where I'm anticipating some higher water levels and some flooding issues just based on winds alone. Possibly around kind of northern Hyde County, just across the Alligator River. also see some higher water levels in those areas. Right now we're anticipating around a 1 to 2 foot rise in water levels based on winds alone. Of course, high tides can certainly bring those levels up, but if we see more of a northwesterly wind flow stay consistent across eastern North Carolina, that's when I think we'll have a slightly higher chance of higher water levels across southern Craven County and even down east Carteret County around Harlow and Blades and potentially, I don't think really Havelock, a little bit too far inland there, but again, along that coast of the Neuse River, that's where I think we're going to be seeing some high water levels and some coastal flooding. As far as Jerry goes, though, this is the good news. I know it's weird to look to the tropics. You've got a tropical system that is expected to get stronger, and you have a meteorologist sitting here saying it is good news, but it's the track. It's a track of the system, continues to show a track or a path, potential path that puts it east of Bermuda. That means the center of that system is going to be at least 600 miles off of our coast, and I don't think we're going to be feeling any of the impacts from Jerry. Yeah, it could generate some waves that get flung into eastern North Carolina, but you got to remember, we're going to have our very own nor'easter developing over us. So trying to, point the finger at Jerry saying these waves are your fault, it's going to be fairly difficult to do. I think the beach erosion problem that we will have this weekend is again more due to the nor'easter versus Jerry. So here is what we have got over the next 8 days. Windy conditions, breezy to windy conditions for today and tomorrow. Then we get into the weekend. Obviously, Mumfest is going to be happening. Wet conditions, very wet conditions on Saturday with winds increasing through the day and into the overnight hours. Sunday, we will see the rain showers start to taper off. Certainly more breaks in the rain coming up over the tail end of the weekend than what we'll have to start the weekend. But winds will be at their strongest coming up on Sunday. So that's something, again, to pay attention to. If you're heading to Mumfest, I would advise against umbrellas. Umbrellas and wind don't mix. So if you are going to Mumfest, bring a rain jacket, light rain jacket. You should be just fine. Then on Monday, the whole system exits. Winds will gradually die down through the day. That 20% chance of rain is really going to be more focused over the northern Outer Banks and areas around the Albemarle Sound as that low tries to pull away from eastern North Carolina. And then we're just set up for a very calm and beautiful week the following Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Air temperatures near, if not a little bit below our seasonal average, low humidity and a lighter breeze plus sunshine. That's something after this weekend I know a lot of people are going to be very happy about. Well, that's all we have time for today's 11 a.m. news and weather update from the First Alert Desk. I want to thank you all so much for joining me. We'll be back with more news and weather coming up at the top of the hour. Until then, I hope you all have a wonderful day.